All right, so let's talk about cross-site scripting, the next topic in the BURP, in the Web Security Academy. So here's the simplest case of cross-site scripting. Very famous vulnerability, and yet very commonly exploited. You don't even need a proxy to do the simple cases. So here in the search functionality, there's a cross-site scripting. This is the most common, easy to understand vulnerability. I'm going to wait for this thing to load. Okay, so you can search for things. So if I search for frog, it says search results for frog. So the thing I typed in was echoed back to me. And so that would mean maybe I could put in active content. So if I put in, say, an italic and then bunny, then when I search, I do indeed get an italic bunny. So that suggests that they're letting me put in tags, and they might even be letting me put in script tags like this. So I can put in script alert1/script, and if that's allowing me to put in active content, when I search, it will pop up a box. So I can execute scripts, and this is, of course, bad in one sense, because it's allowing, just like all the other command injections we've talked about, it's letting the user put in data, which is then interpreted as code to execute. But in one sense, it might seem harmless because all it did was reflect back to me. So all I did was run scripts in my own browser. But I could make a malicious link. Notice the script is actually up here in the URL. The alert is up there with URL encoding. So I could make a malicious link that included a script and send it to somebody by email or text message. And when they click the link, the script will run in their machine. So this reflected cross-site scripting is often used for attacks. But that's the simplest case, the most common case. And companies don't typically take cross-site scripting very seriously, although that is beginning to change, because it doesn't directly give you a shell on the server or access to company data. It just lets one user attack the other users by bouncing an attack off your platform, which is not a good thing, but until recently people have considered it a low priority. Now I'm seeing more people take it seriously. They're realizing that you can use it to steal a cookie, to get in someone else's account, and really it is part of an attack you do want to stop. But it's extremely common on the web. I've seen estimates like 80% of websites have cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. I'm not sure it's that bad anymore, but it tends to be very bad. So then there's stored cross-site scripting. You'll have here it's got stored cross-site scripting in the comment functionality. And this is like what Sami Kamkar made famous with the MySpace worm maybe 15, 20 years ago. It made him world famous. He put a post on MySpace which would cause anybody that saw his page to friend him and put the code on their page, so anybody that saw them would do the same thing. So in a matter of hours, he became the most popular person on MySpace with millions of people that liked him or something. So you put this in the comment box. All right, same old thing. So here, it's just the same thing. There's comments. And so you put in a comment like that, and anything here. And that makes a stored comment with active scripting in it that came from the user and not the developer. And so if you go back to the blog and view it, again, it runs this script. So these are the simple cases. And there are, of course, many more labs with more options like a document object model, cross-site scripting, which is one I found quite confusing at first, where you have a page that loads content from another part of the page, like the URL, and you can have the same kind of cross-site scripting there. And there are many other options here, so give those things a try. Well, let's take a look at the first DOM one, because that one is worth going through. I remember people made a big deal about this, and I at first had difficulty understanding how this differed from the other models. It's a sort of esoteric difference. So this is going to use the JavaScript document write function to write to the page. And with the modern JavaScript frameworks for web pages, this is increasingly common, where the web page is created using JavaScript functions to write the code. And so you have to stick your script in the data that is used to write the page. So in the search query tracking functionality, let me look at the solution here. Okay, put something in and inspect the element. All right. So if you put in something like Froggy and search, okay, then you have this. Now I'm going to inspect the element, which I think is here. Right click, inspect. All right. And so I have Froggy there, but there's going to be another Froggy. If I do Control F, Command F? Yeah, here's my search. Okay, Froggy. There are two of them. If I go for the next one, it's down here. Okay, so you do have an image source tag. Let me see if I can blow it up to make it more readable. All right. So you have an image source tag with that term inside the URL for the image. So there are various ways to exploit this. And let me see which one they prefer. Yeah, you have to insert the right punctuation marks to break out of it. So you need a quote and a greater than sign to finish this tag, and then you can insert another tag there. And there are a lot of ways to do it. One way to do it is with this SVG tag. So if I search for this stuff, then it will complete the image source tag and then add this SVG on load alert one, which should trigger when the page loads. So if I search for that, then it does pop up because it's added this stuff, and you can see what it's going to do here. So that's the kind of thing. If you have data that is inserted into a tag, then you have to add extra punctuation marks to complete the tag in order to exploit it. So it's a fairly, it's very much like the other ones, but technically the code you're inserting went through JavaScript to be inserted into something. That's all. So there's many versions of cross-site scripting, and certainly a technique you should know. So I'll stop this.